I am Curtis Matthew, the news editor at DBS Radio. It's indeed a pleasure being at the home of Cornell Phillip and Carlyn XP, two formidable personalities in the music scene in Dominica. And we just want to reflect a bit on the situation re COVID-19. By the way, Carlyn XP, of course, the Bouyon monarch of Dominica, a registered nurse. And certainly she has done so very much for the music industry. So too is her husband, Colonel Phillip. I want to say once again, it's a pleasure being around. I want to start with you, Carlyn XP, and to just ask you about how are you coping as an artist, coping with COVID-19 this time around?
Well, I'm just taking it day by day. Right now, I'm just coming off, we came off from Carnival straight into Lent. So that was already a null in the performances and, the gigs and the shows. And then going straight into COVID-19, it felt like an extended, unwanted vacation. So I'm just taking it day by day. And thankfully, I work at home. Most of the time, I work from home. We have our studio at home. And I work together with Cornell, who is my husband, for those of you who don't know. And it's rather, I don't know, it keeps me away from feeling that void, because we could go to the studio anytime or we could perform together anytime, just for the fun of it at home.
At the start of this interview, I spoke about you being a registered nurse.
Yes.
People have asked me that question. Does she do nursing? What do you say?
Well, I am still a registered nurse. I will always be a registered nurse, right? As long as I pay my license and so on, I will forever be a registered nurse. But I don't practice at the PMH no more. Okay, I resigned some 4 years ago, but I do on-call. So certain times they might be short of a nurse, or in for example, like the COVID-19 times, they might call in all retired nurses, all resigned nurses, and so on. And then I go back to lend a helping hand.
You've introduced an initiative recently to engage with your fans here and abroad.
Yeah.
How is that playing out?
Well, I mean, at first it was just let's just do a live, to keep interacting with the people, to let them know that we're still here, we're okay and whatever. But then after the first show, the response that we got is like people were at their breaking point. They were on the lockdown, they were on the curfew, they had nothing to do, they had lost their jobs, and some of them were at their breaking point. They called us and they're like, thank you guys so much. Some called us crying, and it really dawned on me that sometimes when we think of these pandemics and so on, we always think of the physical health first and foremost, and we always sometimes seem to neglect our mental health, and as a registered nurse, I decided maybe not all of us need to be on the inside. Like, what I mean by that is somebody has to stay on the outside and think of those who are maybe not directly impacted by the COVID-19, but it definitely indirectly impacts them, where they cannot go to work or they cannot go outside and so on. And it's taking a toll on them mentally, and the music is a great medicine. And I thought that we could use it based on the fact that we had gotten so many calls from people just to thank us and tell us how much they appreciated that initiative. We just decided that we had to continue it. And every other week it just grew and grew and grew, bigger.
I want to move to Cornell Phillip for a short while, because I asked you earlier on about how are you coping with COVID-19. Cornell, can you answer that question?
Well, as Carlyn said, coming from Carnival, going into Lent, it was a regular break. And then COVID-19 came about and it was like an extended break. So going into it wasn't that, seeing that we were already in that mood, transitioning into the COVID-19 phase wasn't that hard. But There are times when I personally felt like I was just like closed in, boxed in, and I needed to find stuff to do. I needed to find things to do. Yeah, you home and we working from home, but being on a computer 24/7 or at least 12 hours in a day is not healthy. I found that out the hard way. It's not healthy at all. I mean, I had problems in breathing, and it had its challenges, and then we started to work on new material. We started to find other things to do. We eventually could go out every now and then, because when the first case of COVID-19 in Trinidad, I was actually in Trinidad on the 11th of January or 11th of March. So right when I came back to Dominica on the 12th, I went into self-quarantine. So I was in self-quarantine since the 12th. So it had its challenges, but we found things to do. We found things to do at home. Thank God we have a big enough family that we can get activities. I haven't played drafts and chess and and cards and bingo and enjoyed it so much. It really amazed me that the family came together and had a night, and we went from game to game to game, and before we knew it, it was 12 o'clock midnight. So we took advantage of the time that we had as a family, and we also took advantage of the time that we had to produce, to write, to really talk things through as a married couple. We tend to take a lot of things for granted, and now was an opportune time to do things.
Is it a very challenging time for the ordinary artist in Dominica?
I believe it is, but the internet is there, the internet is vast, and there are so many things that you can do, and you just have to be creative and do. I think every musician, I believe, have internet at his house, but it's how you go about doing it. And something I always say, now is a time that musicians can really sit back, reflect, and put their career, really do the things that they need to do, the online stuff, and really researching and probably reading and educating themselves about the industry. Now is an opportune time for that.
I've heard comments that COVID-19 presents opportunities for artists and so on to probably enlarge in their enterprise, get better at what they do. How correct is that?
Yes, we have the time, and COVID-19, that is the topic of today in the world over. As a writer, write something. See what you can, be creative, switch some words around, do something. We don't have a choice but to engage in something. It's not only the musicians, but in every industry we need to engage as a people, as a person, as an individual. You need to engage in something to really get your mind off what's going on.
Let me come back to Carlyn XP. Let's say COVID-19 will be over, and that is just mere speculation, by the end of the year. I suppose artists like you are already looking forward to getting things done after COVID-19.
Yeah.
I'm mentioning end of year, but we're not sure.
Right.
But you're looking forward to a time when we can go out again to begin our jams all over the place again.
Definitely. Definitely. And even with the COVID-19 being here now, and I hear Cornell speaking of finding things to do, that would be one of my advice for the artists in Dominica. And it's an opportune time to learn a new skill in the music industry. It's not just coming on stage and singing something or singing what somebody gave you. Learn to write. You can learn to write, you can learn an instrument, you can do different things. In having the musical therapy, it's not just for the people on the outside. I have felt that, and I think Cornell has felt the same way, that the musical therapy went both ways. It's a way that we use it to cope with the fact that we cannot go out, we cannot have gigs, we cannot have shows, and we can have it right here on our porch. So it went both ways, where it was therapy for people on the outside and it was therapy for us. And with that, it grew my fan base a lot. A lot of people who did not know about Carlyn XP and wondering, why haven't they heard about this young lady from Dominica? for so long is now Carlyn XP fans. So to answer your question, I am definitely looking forward to going out and when we can perform, and because I know a lot of people right now, they are going to look forward to a Carlyn XP concert outside of COVID-19.
Cornell, Creole Festival 2020. I've not heard too much being mentioned about it. Do you think it can happen?
No.
Shouldn't happen.
I don't think it should happen. Even if we come down to 0 cases and 0 in quarantine, but the Creole Festival is a festival that attracts people from around the world. I honestly don't think it will be a good decision or the best decision to have the Creole Festival this year.
Even if the Caribbean is announcing that they are cleared, let's say by June, July, August?
Realistically speaking, do we think that
it does not look possible?
I don't know. And even if things clear up, what promotion can be done? What impact can it do with marketing in such a short space of time? You know, I think we should, that's just my personal opinion, we should regroup and think about 21.
So the next festival in your mind should not happen this year, but possibly next year?
I honestly don't think, because it's not only, money comes and goes, but we're thinking about our livelihood, we're thinking about the welfare of a nation, you know. We want a healthy nation. Look at what happened to Maria. We were down and we came back. You know, we came back full force. That is just another challenge that we have to go through, and we have to do it responsibly. You know, yes, I am disappointed that our work, our touring, and our gigs, our regular gigs at C Square have gone down the drain. But when you look at the bigger picture, it's worth it, you know, because we have life to move on. We can always make up at a later date, you know, but I believe that we have to be responsible. And people have the general notion, they don't want to miss their fete and this and that, but life is not about fete. Life is about living, and just living in general. So we will always have the World Creole Music Festival. Once we are here, we will always have Carnival, we will always have Dumbfesta, we will always have a Triple K Jam, or WCK Jam, or Carlyn XP Jam. It will always be there, but we need to take care of ourselves.
Mother's Day, Carlyn XP Mother's Day 2020.
Yes.
An unusual Mother's Day, but it's one that you're looking forward to as a registered nurse, a mother, an artist.
Yeah.
You're still looking forward to Mother's Day 2020.
Definitely. And as long as I have life and I have strength and good health, the Lord is willing, I will try my best to let the other mothers out there have a good Mother's Day, a fantastic Mother's Day, you know. And we just have to give thanks for life, that we are even able to see that day, no matter the circumstances. Even if we're at home and we're going to be on total lockdown on that Sunday, you just wake up, you give thanks and praise for life, and you know, you are thankful, you are grateful that you even get to see another Mother's Day, you know. And let's just look at the positive side of it instead of dwelling on basically the fact that maybe you wouldn't have even gone anywhere if we were not under lockdown, you know. But just the mere fact that you have to stay inside, you're feeling like it's not the same, you know. So with musical therapy, which is what we're doing every Sunday, we're going to try our very best to let all the moms out there feel as special as they would have on a normal basis.
What time do you start?
We start from 5 p.m.
5 o'clock, so the mothers can look forward to 5 o'clock on Sunday.
Definitely.
Right. Anything you'd like to speak about that we did not mention in this short interview? Anything you'd like to?
Anything you want to say,
You'd like to say that we did not talk about in this interview?
I just want to let for your listeners and those of you who have not heard about musical therapy with Carlyn XP, it's an online show. It's a virtual concert that we put on every Sunday from 5 p.m. It came about because of the COVID-19, and we just needed something or some medium to get persons to be sane again, because some people were really down, they were really depressed, and even us ourselves not being able to perform and go, but we're like, we can do this online, and we're right here, and Cornell and I is married, so it's like we're family, we live together anyways, and I just want to let the listeners know of musical therapy. If you haven't heard about it, you can always tune in every Sunday on Carlyn XP's page, Facebook page, Instagram page, and you will find it on YouTube as well. And you will find something very entertaining, very uplifting, and something very positive. It's medicine through music, right? And this Sunday, it's going to be a special Sunday for all the mothers out there.
Congratulations, you and Cornell, for the good work that you continue to do.
Thank you
all the best. Much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.